Your hands can age you faster than your face. And most women don't realize it until someone points it out. There's one thing sitting on your fingertips right now that could either be softening every line and adding a youthful glow, or doing the exact opposite, making your hands look tired, dull, and years older than you actually are. It's not expensive lotion. It's not some miracle serum. It's your nail color. And today I'm going to show you the 7 shades that instantly make older hands look smoother, softer, and noticeably younger. Plus the one color almost every woman over 60 is still wearing that's quietly working against her. Hi there and welcome back to Timeless Style After 60, the place where we talk about looking elegant, polished, and confident at any age, without spending a fortune to get there. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us, and if you've been with me for a while, you already know I love finding those small changes that make a big difference. Nail color is one of those things nobody talks about enough, so if that sounds useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe before we get started, because I've got a lot more of these tips coming your way. Now let's get into it. Point 1. Bright icy white. Let's start with a color that surprises a lot of women. A soft icy white. Here's why this matters. As our skin changes with age, it can develop more visible veins, some redness, and uneven tone on the hands. A bright white polish creates contrast against the skin, and that contrast draws the eye toward the nail itself instead of the texture underneath it. It's a simple trick, but it works. The mistake many women make is assuming white polish looks harsh or too stark against mature skin. Actually, the opposite is true when you pick the right shade. A stark, cold white can feel unforgiving, but a soft white with a hint of cream underneath looks fresh instead of clinical. Here's how to fix it if you've been avoiding white altogether. Look for polish labeled soft white or milk white rather than true white. Brands like Essie and OPI both make gentler versions that feel elegant instead of icy. A quick styling tip. Pair this shade with a rounded or slightly squared nail shape rather than a sharp point. Rounded edges feel softer and more age-appropriate, and they photograph beautifully too. I think of a woman named Carol who came to one of my styling sessions convinced white polish was for young girls. She tried a soft milk white shade on a Friday, and by Sunday she told me 3 people had complimented her hands at a family gathering. Nobody knew it was the polish. They just noticed her hands looked lighter and cleaner. If you're on a budget, plenty of drugstore brands now carry a soft white shade for under $10, so this isn't about spending more, it's about spending smarter. One more thing worth mentioning. If you're worried a white polish will show every little smudge or chip, choose a slightly creamy formula instead of a thin, watery one. Creamy formulas apply more evenly, last longer without chipping at the tips, and give you that clean, finished look for close to 2 weeks with the right top coat. It's a small detail, but it makes the difference between a color that looks effortless and one that feels like a hassle to maintain. Point 2. Warm peachy nude. Next up is a shade that flatters almost every skin tone out there. A warm peachy nude. This color matters because nude tones have a reputation for being boring, but a nude with warmth in it does something powerful. It brightens the hand without calling attention to any discoloration, and it makes fingers look longer and more elegant. So many women unknowingly reach for a cool, gray-based nude because it's what's trending, but cool undertones can actually make aging skin look sallow or tired. That's the mistake to watch for. The fix is simple. Look at the undertone of the polish before you buy it. If it looks even slightly pink, peach, or golden, that's your friend. If it looks gray, beige, gray, or ashy, put it back. For styling, this shade works beautifully with a slightly glossy top coat rather than matte. Matte nude can look chalky on mature hands, but a glossy finish reflects light and adds a healthy shine. I remember my aunt, who's in her 70s, switching from a cool taupe nude to a warm peachy one, and it changed everything about how her hands looked in photos. Suddenly her rings stood out more, her skin looked warmer, and she seemed instantly more relaxed and put together. And the best part, warm nude polishes are everywhere and inexpensive. You genuinely don't need a luxury brand for this one. But the biggest mistake is still coming, so stay with me because the next one is something almost every woman has done at least once. Point 3. Soft rose pink. Let's talk about soft rose pink, a shade that feels timeless for a reason. This color works because pink tones have long been associated with healthy, youthful skin. When you wear a soft rose on your nails, it visually echoes that same healthy flush, almost like your hands are borrowing a little bit of that glow. Many women avoid pink because they associate it with something younger or girly. So they skip straight to darker, more serious colors, thinking that reads as more sophisticated. But sophistication and softness aren't opposites. In fact, soft rose often looks more refined than a heavy, dark shade. To fix this, try a rose with just a touch of mauve mixed in. It keeps things elegant instead of overly sweet, and it works beautifully for both daytime and evening looks. Here's a styling tip. If your hands show more visible knuckles or veins, a slightly opaque rose formula will even things out better than a sheer, jelly-like formula. Think about how a rose gold watch or rose gold jewelry always looks expensive and timeless. Rose polish has that same quiet elegance, and it doesn't shout for attention. It simply looks put together. For confidence, I always tell women this. A soft color on your nails gives people something pleasant to notice, without ever feeling like you're trying too hard. That's real elegance. And if you want an affordable option, look for rose shades labeled Your True Self or Ballet Slipper types. These are common names across many budget-friendly brands. What I love about this shade in particular is how forgiving it is. If your polish grows out a little before you get around to a touch-up, rose pink hides that growth line far better than a bold, saturated color does. So it's not just flattering, it's also practical for anyone who doesn't want to be redoing their nails every single week. Before we move to the next few colors, if you've learned something new so far, let me know in the comments which nail color you've tried, or which one you're excited to try. And if you're enjoying these timeless style tips, please take a second to like this video, because it genuinely helps this channel reach more women just like you. Point 4. Classic red with blue undertones. Now let's talk about red, because red done right is one of the most flattering colors a woman over 60 can wear. Here's why it matters. Red has a way of instantly making hands look elegant and confident. It draws attention in the best possible way, signaling polish and self-assurance. The mistake almost everyone makes is choosing a red with orange or warm undertones, thinking any red will do. But a warm-toned red can actually make skin look more yellow or tired, especially if your skin has warm undertones already. The fix is to choose a red with cool blue undertones instead. Think classic cherry red or fire engine red, rather than brick red or orange red. This kind of red brightens teeth, brightens skin, and makes hands look crisp and clean. For styling, keep the nail length short to medium. A long red nail on mature hands can sometimes look like it's trying too hard, but a shorter length with a glossy red feels timeless, like something you'd see on a woman who simply knows herself well. I always think of classic film stars here, women who wore red lipstick and red nails well into their later years and looked absolutely commanding because of it. Confidence and color go hand in hand, quite literally. If you're nervous about wearing red, start small. Try it on a weekend somewhere low pressure, and notice how differently people respond to you. Most women tell me they wish they'd started wearing red years earlier. And yes, you can find a beautiful blue-based red at almost any drugstore for a few dollars. This is not a splurge item. The next nail color surprises almost every woman I talk to, because it's the one people assume is too bold for their age. It isn't. Point 5. Dusty lavender. Let's talk about dusty lavender, a color that quietly became one of my favorites to recommend. This shade matters because it has a cool, muted quality that pairs beautifully with silver hair, gray hair, or even hair that's been colored a softer shade. It creates a harmonious look from head to hand. The mistake here is assuming lavender is too playful or trendy for a polished, elegant look. Many women skip it entirely, associating purple tones with younger, trend-driven style choices. But a dusty, muted lavender is nothing like a bright purple. It's soft, almost like a whisper of color, and it photographs beautifully against fair to medium skin tones. To fix any hesitation, try it first with a sheer or semi-sheer formula. This lets you ease into the color without committing to full opacity right away. A quick styling tip. Lavender pairs beautifully with silver jewelry rather than gold. So if you're wearing this shade, reach for your silver rings and bracelets that day. I had a viewer once tell me she wore dusty lavender to her granddaughter's graduation, worried it might look too much. Instead, 3 other grandmothers asked her what shade it was. That's the kind of quiet confidence this color brings. Affordable versions of this shade are widely available, especially from brands that release seasonal collections, so keep an eye out during spring releases for the best selection. One thing to keep in mind with lavender is lighting. This shade can shift slightly depending on whether you're indoors or outside in natural daylight, so if you can, Try it on in daylight before committing to a bottle. Point 6. Deep Burgundy. Now we're getting into richer territory with deep burgundy, a color that feels instantly sophisticated. This shade works because darker, wine-toned colors add depth and richness without feeling harsh. Burgundy in particular has a warmth to it that flatters most skin tones, especially during cooler months. The common mistake is choosing a burgundy that leans too brown, which can look muddy or dull instead of rich. Many women also apply it too thick, which can make the color look almost black instead of that lovely wine tone. The fix is twofold. First, choose a burgundy with a slight red or pink undertone rather than a brown one. Second, apply thin, even coats so the color stays rich and glossy instead of flat. For styling, burgundy looks incredible with a slightly longer nail shape, like a soft almond or oval, because the elongated shape lets the color really shine and elongates the fingers. This is a wonderful color for the fall and winter months especially, and it pairs beautifully with cream, camel, and deep green clothing, colors many of us already gravitate toward in our wardrobes. For confidence, I always say this: burgundy makes a quiet statement. It says you know exactly who you are, without needing anything flashy to prove it. A lot of women tell me burgundy feels more grown-up than other colors, and in a way that's exactly the point. It doesn't try to compete with anything else you're wearing. It simply anchors your whole look, the same way a great pair of leather gloves or a classic handbag does. You put it on and everything else just feels a little more finished. You'll definitely want to see number 1 because it's the color I recommend more than any other, and it might surprise you. Point 7. Sheer Pink Glass Finish. And finally, the color I recommend more than any other for women over 60. A sheer pink with a glass-like, glossy finish. Here's why this one tops the list. This finish mimics the look of naturally healthy, well-cared-for nails. It's polished, but it never looks overdone, which makes it perfect for absolutely any occasion, from grocery shopping to a wedding. The mistake most women make is thinking they need a bold statement color to look put together. But actually, the your nails but better look is one of the most consistently flattering choices across every age group, especially for hands with more visible texture or lines. The fix, if you've been overlooking this style, is to look for a sheer pink polish combined with a high shine top coat, sometimes marketed as a glass nail or jelly manicure look. For styling, this pairs beautifully with literally everything. Every outfit, every season, every occasion. It's the little black dress of nail colors. I think about how many women tell me they feel most like themselves in this shade, because it doesn't change how their hands look, it simply enhances them. That's the whole secret to looking younger. It's never about hiding who you are. It's about softly highlighting your best features. And this one is incredibly affordable too, since almost every drugstore brand makes some version of a sheer pink polish. The other reason I recommend it so often is how versatile it is when it comes to nail length and shape. Whether your nails are short and practical or a bit longer, this shade adapts to whatever you already have going on. You don't need to change your nail shape or grow anything out to make it work, which makes it one of the lowest effort, highest impact choices on this entire list. So there you have it, 7 nail colors that can genuinely make your hands look younger, softer, and more confident, without spending a fortune or changing anything else about your routine. But here's what I want you to remember more than any specific shade. Looking younger was never really about age in the first place. It's about confidence and how you carry yourself in the choices you make, right down to something as small as your nail color. If this video gave you a little inspiration today, I'd love for you to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you're curious about another simple change that makes a big difference, go ahead and check out the video I've linked, where we talk about the one hairstyle mistake that can quietly age your whole look. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. You deserve to feel beautiful, confident, and completely yourself at every single age. I'll see you in the next video.